How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, a lot of people have seen this picture, and this picture was dated November 25th, 2014, and this is Devontae Hart. And all we know at this point is his family is wiped out. Ended up in this situation, which is very, very sad. And he was known for hugs. He wanted hugs. And now that we are learning more about what's going on with this family, because you cannot go by pictures, that pictures can be deceiving, that there was trouble on the home front. I have some videos to show, and we will get deeper into this. But Taryn Rain had showed us some disturbing pictures on Black Junction that just made us wonder what was really going on in that household. And that's Devontae. Got his hair cut and made dressed like a girl. But this child and those other children were being abused to the point where they were asking the neighbors to feed them. So anyway, my royal family, we're going to get deeper into this and listen to the videos.
California cliff that killed a Washington state family may have been intentional. The California Highway Patrol says the SUV carrying Jennifer and Sarah Hart and at least 3 of their adopted children drove straight off the cliff without stopping. Their 3 other children are missing but are presumed dead. Vladimir Dudy of our streaming network CBSN is here now with new details. But this was a heartbreaking story last week. To hear it might have been done on purpose takes it to a whole different level.
The whole country feels for this family because of little Devontae Hart. We saw that photo of him. The sheriff's office says it believes at least 1 felony was committed in this case. It won't say what that felony is or why it believes that, but new details are starting to help us understand what may have happened on that Northern California cliff. The California Highway Patrol says electronic data pulled from the Hart's SUV is helping piece together the family's final tragic moments. Preliminary information shows the SUV pulled off Highway 1, stopping on a dirt turnaround about 70 feet from the cliff's edge. Police say the vehicle then accelerated, plunging straight into the Pacific Ocean. There were no skid marks found on the scene or signs the driver tried to brake. Authorities describe the SUV's speedometer as pinned at 90 miles per hour, but investigators say that number could have been caused by the impact of the crash. Late last week, investigators searched Sarah and Jennifer Hart's home in Woodland, Washington, where they had recently moved with their 6 adopted children. Authorities say no suicide note was found.
They portray this happy little family.
But neighbors like Dana DeKalb say there were signs of trouble, prompting her to call Child Protective Services.
Their daughter's telling us, please, 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 begging us not to make her go back and that they were abusing her.
In 2011, when the family lived in Minnesota, Sarah Hart pleaded guilty to domestic assault. According to court documents, she admitted she bent her 6-year-old daughter over a bathtub and hit her on the backside.
There was no question as to how completely loved and adored those children were.
Zippy Lomax met the family in 2012 and said she is shocked by allegations of abuse.
None of that lines up with the people that we all knew. It's really hard to imagine.
Child Protective Services visited the family home at least 3 times in the days before the crash, but never saw the Harts. Investigators say they have written search warrants for the couple's cell phone and bank records. As of now, they do not know why the family was in California.
Just think about those kids in that car. Probably had no idea this was coming.
Indeed.
Very sad story.
This is very tragic to me.
With 5 times more ethnic regions,
This is very tragic to me, my royal family. There is a possibility that friends may not have known. You know, they wouldn't want them to know anything like that. And then you see the house that they just moved in. Very nice house. Very nice. Very spacious with, you know, that large amount of family and everything. But I guarantee you, there is somebody that knows them, that know that there was a problem. Now, the other thing that I want to say to my own folks, we need to get real serious about adopting our royal babies. I often talk about our duties and our responsibilities. We do a lot of fucking talking, but we need to put boots on the ground and need to do what we gotta do. Because we can sit up here and we can bitch that these folks had an opportunity to adopt these children. They were abandoned by their own. And I'm highly disappointed and deeply hurt that that would happen. Also, it also makes me think about my stepdaughter. A few short years ago, she earnestly tried to adopt, and she was rejected. She has her unquote master's degree in education, and she works for Social Security, been with them about 15 years, and she is married. And the only thing that they could come up with is they needed a coffee table in their house. And that was the end of that. Now, I'm not going to go deeper into it. I know why they rejected it, but it's my family, but I'll just leave it right there. I ain't going to go too much deeper in it. But yeah, like I said, I keep it core and I keep it truthful. And wherever these stories land, it land. So I'm beating up on my own and stuff. And this child displaying these tears, he was hurting. Bless his heart. And go over to Ren Reigns. If I can remember, I will put a link, because the video that I seen over on Ren Reigns' channel was disturbing. Very, very disturbing. So anyway, my royal family, let's continue on.
The investigators who have been desperate to figure out how that family flew off that cliff in California and whether it was on purpose. 3 kids and their moms were found dead, and 3 other kids are still missing tonight. And this has now been over a week. The searchers still scanning that crash site today. But tonight we have an idea of exactly where they were and what they were up to just before that road trip ended in tragedy, because one of the moms was caught on camera right here at this California checkout counter, seemingly buying fruit snacks for her kids the very morning they went off that cliff. And based on apparent pings from cell phones, investigators have laid out a massive part of their travel route. They think the family, or at least 5 members of that Washington family, drove down south from a town in Oregon, hundreds of miles down the coast, to a town in California, where they spent about 24 mysterious hours. After that, the drive continued straight to that cliff-like pullout, where they may have stopped 70 feet before taking that plunge. With me, Shane Kavanaugh, staff writer for the Oregonian, Mendocino County Sheriff Tom Allman, and defense attorney Randy Zellen. Sheriff, I want to begin with you. We're starting to get at least a picture of where this family was before this horrible accident. Is that helping you in any way to figure out why the accident happened and where those 3 missing kids are?
Well, it's certainly helping us determine the route. I'm to the point where I no longer am calling this an accident, I'm calling it a crime. And the fact that the grocery store did have her on video buying multiple fruit pieces, multiple bananas, leads us to believe that she was at least buying some food for her family. And actually, we haven't released the name of the driver, but I'm prepared to do that. I just got off the phone with the CHP commander, and Jennifer, the same woman that was in the video from the grocery store, is the woman that we believe was driving the vehicle when it crashed.
Sheriff, that's so distressing on so many levels. Jennifer Hart, the driver, also pictured here in the supermarket. Who would know? I mean, who would think anything looking at this picture? And it just seems so normal. A mom buying bananas for the kids and getting back into the SUV. Can I ask you, do we know this because they were found strapped in those seatbelts at the crash site?
That is correct. The two adults were seatbelted in. The children were not seatbelted.
I know this is going to be a difficult question to answer because the forensics obviously take time, but is there any indication that there was a struggle between Sarah in the passenger seat and Jennifer in the driver's seat?
We've asked that question from our pathologist. We haven't got the results, but there's many other questions we're asking. Was everybody alive when they went off the cliff? That's a question we don't know yet. So these are all pieces that are coming together. Today, a citizen found a cell phone in the area alongside the road that had been wet. We've sent it in for forensics to see if we can determine if that was one of the Hart cell phone. And also a citizen reported several miles south of this location, like in the area of 30 or 40 miles south, seeing something in the ocean. It looked like it had clothes on it. We had dive teams in the water immediately, and we're rushing to find out what we can.
All right, my royal family, that's all they can
Meet
come up with.
Ecobee Switch Plus. The lights.
That's all they can come up with. And the sad part about it is they haven't recovered the rest of the children, which makes it even more tragic. And as the days pass on out there in that rough ocean, it looks really rough out there when you look at the terrain here and how deep that is, and they got swept away. I doubt that they will even be able to find them. It's just really, really sad. But I keep going back to our royal son here. I can understand him, because they said he was doing this for a while, doing the hugs. I can understand him giving hugs, but why was he so emotional? Something wasn't right. And then when I later find out that he was 15, I was like, damn, his growth was stunted. Or maybe, it was some underlying health issues. It looked a little bit bigger here, but I'm used to seeing a 15-year-old a little bit bigger than that. But the neighbors have already indicated that they were asking for food, and they were asking for food like 3 and 4 times a day, and they were asking that the food be hidden in certain locations because they didn't want their parents to know that they were, unquote, getting food. So something was going on in that household. So anyway, my royal family, we know that there will be an update, and I will report it like anyone else. And so anyway, my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.